In a few days, I will be at SAC Comic Con. It is convention week. Feels like it because I actually follow a particular YouTuber and he's live streaming, going to a convention. And it got me hyped. I'm like, yo, I'm ready. I'm going to see if I can try to talk to people, at least being a hermit. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm not sure what's going to happen. I just want to be in the vibe. I want to be in more conventions out there. It's kind of strange that I'm actually going to a convention, knowing that I'm kind of dealing with this weird financial problem right now. Yeah, let's just say I'm not going to be spending a lot, which is kind of sad. But I'm going to be there with Stefan, and pretty much me and him are going to chill and just have a good time. Yeah, we're just chilling, vibing. Can I just say something? Pretty much this is in Sacramento. This is in the same convention that I almost lost the fun. And I'm hoping that they fix the internet or something. I hope they fix the connection. I remember a few years ago that I almost lost the phone, almost called the cops, and pretty much I was like, really, really, just like worried. And hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully, we're gonna basically practice, like, hey, if we lose each other, we're gonna meet here. But I know for a fact that I'm gonna make sure that we're together, you know, not together, okay? Hey yo, okay, we're straight. But together as like, brothers and basically, sticking together, knowing that how do I make this sound less gay? We're gonna be together. We're gonna hold hands, and we're gonna ooh, yeah, whatever. People could just, I don't give a damn. We're gonna be kissing. Okay, I'll stop. But yeah, means the fun. We're gonna keep an eye on each other, man. That still sounds gay. Anyways, yeah, we're gonna be at the con. So I don't know about you. I'm gonna be vlogging myself. Actually, it's gotta be the first couple of conventions that I'm actually gonna do, you know, vlogs of my face because I honestly don't care about this channel. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna show myself. Don't worry about it. I actually came up with a nice get up for this convention. I'm kind of looking for it. It's not a cosplay, but I decided like, let me look professional. Okay, and maybe you can call it a cosplay. I know I'm gonna call it something. It's it's gonna be funny. But yeah, at Comic Con, literally in a few days, as I'm recording this. Also, let's get into the news and stuff like that. I'm trying to do this quietly because my parents are sleeping. Yeah, I'm doing a late night. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be recording at all when I wake up. It's gonna be one of those days where I gotta do a couple of things here and there, a couple of work, and yeah, I'm off. I wasn't even planning to do a VinzTalk at all, but I might as well. And this one is just gonna be a chill one, especially knowing that, I got my parents sleeping and pretty much I don't want to wake them up. So I have to basically be very chill. I have been watching One Piece. I've been loving One Piece. One Piece season 2 just came up. Also, another thing, I might as well get the animation news out. Yeah, my Amazing Digital Circus just, a new episode came out. I gotta watch that because I get this weird feeling once I go to the convention. There's gonna be, cosplays here and there, fans of the show and stuff. It depends on who I'm talking to or something, but it'll be nice to actually get a good acknowledgement of like knowing the spoilers before I don't know someone shows a somewhat spoiler like I haven't seen the new episode of Amazing Digital Circus episode 8. I wanted to do like a reactions type video or something like that when I do get the chance, but yeah, I really hope that no one died or whatever. There's going to be a particular cosplay that's gonna play as a character and there's blood raining down and stuff like that. Like that would be crazy. Like I'm over here trying to finish freaking One Piece live action season 2, which is so freaking good, man. I just love it. It's a godsend. But yeah, these are the two properties that I'm working on. I mean, I've been trying to really catch up watching shows. My PC's been acting up. It hasn't been good for my laptop for the last few days. It's if anything, I kind of been worried. Like I literally like it could turn into a blue screen at any moment because something is just eating up all my data, just eating it up. And yeah, Windows, Yeah, they're a bunch of you know what, you know what I mean? Because they're just screwing up my freaking laptop. All because I need a new laptop and invest. And right now I'm dealing with this financial problem that I can't get a new laptop at the moment. So I'm kind of trying my best to figure that out, as well as trying to make sure my laptop doesn't die again. And if it dies, like actually dies, like that's because even though that it died many times, and I always try to for some reason, I always have like this weird theme in my life where things happen on the internet that died, and I'm over here like, well, time to resurrect. The same thing with this channel. It's been terminated so many times, but that never stopped me. It never, it's still here. It's like it's just been terminated so many times that I'm still holding up for dear life. And the same thing with my laptop. I've been having it for years, and right now it is at its limit. Oh my god. But yeah, I seriously need a new laptop. That's for sure. Anyways, moving on. Let's get into some news here and there. Okay. Solar Russell. If you know, you know. Well, in the hip hop community here in the Bay Area, one of the upcoming rappers right now is La Russell. He killing it. He out here doing his thing. But right now, he actually said something quite interesting and controversial. He was talking about HeavenSent. I don't know what his message is. I'm trying to. At first, I was like, okay, is he coming to Christ or nah? Man, I wish I can find that out because right now he blocking all his social medias has been deactivated because of this one controversy, and I'm like, bro, cannot handle the freaking heat. This is what I mean that I really can't live a life in on the internet all the time and pretty much have my image bigger or something, because if I say something stupid or allegations come up and all that BS, I don't blame freaking Lil Russell. Then again, I wouldn't do that. I would basically just come out and tell the truth or something. I feel like that's what Lil Russell should do, even though I didn't know. I'm not sure if he made a video apologizing or if he needs to apologize. But basically, he said something like, "Oh, Donald Trump is heaven sent, blah 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 is heaven sent." Controversial public figure that killed millions is heaven sent, and he was even talking about that is heaven sent, and also all this crap like, "Oh, he's heaven sent, that's heaven sent." I was like, okay. And what I'm trying to understand, at least I heard this from Anthony Fantano, is that he's basically saying that everybody came from God, which is true. That's true, okay? But then again, is LaRussell a Christian? Like, is he saying that? Because I don't get the vibe that he's a Christian. For some weird reason, this is where I bring the other controversy about him, or at least me making it up or something. I'm not really sure. I'm not really making up anything of LaRussell. I really hope he doesn't hear this or see this video. Nobody watches my channel, so I don't think he is going to see me. But then again, stuff be freaking local. I never heard of LaRussell, but it was just local. And you would think it would, like, usually it's like from my brother, he would be posting stuff like, about, artists or whatever is the trend here in the yay, as we call in the Bay Area. I don't call it that. I don't call it that. I'm not, I'm not associated with any nonsense that happened in the Bay Area. Do you realize how dangerous our neighborhoods are? Like, we just can't catch a break. People are always like talking about this neighborhood that is far from the Bay Area, that you should be part of the Bay Area. And I would go out and say, no, because screw that. Why, when certain cities that are far from the Bay, they don't need to be part of the Bay. We just worry about ourselves, okay? But for some reason, Sacramento's part of the Bay, Stockton's part. No, you don't. If you're not part of the Bay, that should be a freaking godsend. That should be like a blessing, because whatever is happening in the Bay is some BS. It is bad over here. Maybe not all the time. I'll be looking at San Francisco. Yeah, it sucks, but I love the parks. I'm not gonna lie. There's some parts of it that's peaceful. Oakland is developing. You got San Jose. I love San Jose. I love hanging out there. But man, You really got to watch yourself out there. I'm not even sure what vibe does it give. It's just that if you are getting robbed, yeah, it's pretty serious in these streets. It's but at the same time it's kind of sad. Like I get that people are struggling, but I can never ever get in my head of understanding why is it that you have to rob and stuff. Yes, there's certain little things that you steal and stuff like that. It's just not right. And it's it's I don't know. I don't really know. If you understand the concept of what I'm saying, just understand that why are people this bad? Why at some point it's gotta get tiring, especially when they're little kids. Like, is it really that bad in the Bay? Things that expensive? Like, I always wonder, like, if things were cheaper in the Bay Area, since it's really known to be the most expensive place in America, like, would there be less robberies? Would there less crime? Like, you think about those things. And maybe there's a part of me where it's like, oh, it's because it's a blue state? Or it's because, like, the amount of minorities or something, all this controversial stuff that I'm thinking of. I'm like, no, that's not what it is. Because when I was looking at like top dangerous places in California, sadly, it's up here. It's close to where I live. And you know how I feel about that. It's like, damn, I'd rather be safer than the Philippines. I'd rather be safer in the Italy than over here. Like and I always appreciate the American dream. I want to live my life here, but I'm just so worried of what's gonna happen. If anything, we need a prayer. We need God here. We need Jesus because I'm kind of afraid what's about to this place is about to turn into if because we really need to do something. Okay, we can't. We gotta stand our ground. 10 toes and stuff like that. But anyways, back to LaRussell. Yeah, he's over here talking about godsend, godsends and stuff like that. I don't know. But also what's weird about him is like I noticed that in his like for some reason he's obsessed of going to a lot of high schools. I don't know. Like I'm trying let that sink in. Like he's not I don't know if he's obsessed. The thing is that I didn't really do my research. I was actually going to go to AI and ask like, what's up with LaRussell? Why is he going to these high schools and making music videos? You know what I mean? Like, some people say like, oh, he's a positive thing. He's sharing it for the youth and stuff like that. And do you see Kendrick Lamar doing that? Do you see other rappers doing that? And I've been out of the game for a while, but it's like, it's still weird. It's still kind of weird, you know what I mean? There's like a lot of high schools that he goes to actually collab with to make certain music videos and stuff like that. And even though that's cool and cute and whatever, it's not really cute to be honest. It's in the freaking hood. It's in the girl, There's nothing cute about that. That's for damn sure. I can say that because I'm from the hood, Oakland, all day every day, baby. But at the same time, it's the hood. You think everything's nice and peachy here, man? Man, walk 10 of my shoes and see what's over here in these streets, gang. But at the same time, I don't want to be here. I don't want that life. I'm tired. I'm at this age where I'm like, why is it that I want to go back to the hood? I don't want to go back to the hood. Okay, nobody wants to. But I'm looking at LaRussell like, okay, me going back to the hood would make more sense than I don't know LaRussell going back to high school as a grown man. By the way, it's like he's going to these high schools and just doing. And listen, I'm not trying to start like any accusations, allegations, or whatever about LaRussell. I'm just saying, like, why are you doing this? Maybe there's a reason. Maybe his agent made him. Maybe there's many high schools that I'm like, but still, it's like kind of weird. You know what I mean? There's something about I don't like seeing little kids. Like I know when they're in the hood, but I don't like seeing little kids in that hood life or just like, getting ratchet with the music or something. Like I still remember of this whole controversy of like, for example, and this might sound over touch, I would say like Sexy Red, going to a high school and performing. Why is she like you do know what her music is about. And is this even appropriate? But then you look at other music artists or rappers, they go to high schools and it's apparently a normal thing, even though I don't find it that way. It's just kind of inappropriate because the stuff they rap about is about sex, drugs, and stuff. Do you want that for the youth? And why are these high schools doing that? Why they are accepting it? That's a rabbit hole that I'm kind of very curious to find out because it's just not right. It's just not right. It makes sense for a pastor to go to a high school. It makes sense for an ex drug addict to go to a high school and talk about like, hey, never do this stuff. It makes sense of a person that has been through mental health and depression to go to a high school. But for a random rapper, and they talking about all getting all girls and go all getting all freaking like hot, big cars and big money and all that. Okay, so why you're in a freaking high school? What is the point? Like, what are you doing? Listen, I don't want from the hood. Being from the hood, I seen things that become ratchet, and I don't want them to become ratchet. I just want things to be normal. Some people, especially me that grew up in the hood, we, really starve for things to just be peaceful. There's that sense of peace that a lot of us work hard for. And I know those people, and I see where they end up if they in the wrong place at the wrong people. People need to understand. I don't know, man. It's so heartbreaking. Pray for LaRussell, man. I like the whole HeavenSent and him going through it and something. Like, it's almost like people are really discovering who he is or so, But I'm hoping that he, unactivates and, or activates, what's the word again? Activate his freaking social medias again and really tell the truth. It's going to be interesting what his opinions are. But other than that, hey, prayers to LaRussell, I guess. Anyways, moving on. I'm still getting comments about people telling me to finish webtoons and stuff like that. It's interesting how nobody is like the amount of videos I talk about like why I quit webtoon. I'm gonna just say webtoon is demonic. It's demonic. Why would I want to be part of webtoon? That supports debauchery and stuff like that. And I'm sharing that to this young audience. And the sad thing is when I talk about the moment that I'm going to be talking about other stuff and other controversial things, there's something like that is supposed to help you. Like, porn is bad. Oh, look what the comments going to be. Look what the dislikes going to be. You know what I mean? Interesting. But, I'm not coming back to webtoon. I just don't know. I just don't know what to do with it. Moving on, Mexico. So Mexico is going through a lot. Seeing the video of, the shooting stuff like that in the airport. It's sad. I hope they doing okay. I hope they doing like, what's, pretty much with the amount of things that's going on there. Can I just say this? I was literally bringing this topic to my parents. And you know what they said? Yeah, but Iran. I was like, what about Iran, Mom? I'm talking about Mexico. And it's because we had Mexican food. And he's over here, she's talking about like, yeah, but also Iran. I was like, I'm not talking about Iran. I'm talking about Mexico. Because earlier I saw a video in Mexico. And we're eating Mexican food. We're not eating freaking shawarmas. No, we're eating Mexican food. Hello. You know what I mean? I just have to get that out of my chest. I just had to. This is what this VinzTalk is all about. And moving on, let's get into gaming news. I just got a few things here. I'm not interested. I'm sticking too long with the gaming stuff because I gotta sleep. Sacred. Wait, where did I put sacred symbols? Why the hell did I put sacred? What the frick, man? I don't know. Sacred symbols. Is anyone a fan of that? Colin used to be part. He is part of that. He's the owner. I don't know why I put it there. Maybe because I was like listening to one of their podcasts and it's like the same three people. And there's a part of me where I'm just listening to them and I'm just like, Colin has to be freaking tired right now about with the same people, even though he isn't. But there's like small details that he goes into, like maybe looking at the background, looking what shirt they're wearing. And it's like the same thing, like, with the same three hosts, which is Dustin and Chris, and it's like, it doesn't would be like the wet talk about the calendar or something, the day, like, oh, it's sunny, especially Chris, and it's like he's like, what is, like, it feels like the same intro rotation, and like there's like even smaller details. I have no idea. Here's a weird thing, like, that's what's happening online. I feel like for many people that are probably they live on their own, which I'm sometimes jealous about, people that have their own place and whatever. Over here struggling to find my own place. But you would just look at the amount of people, or I mean, I'm sorry, like, the few people that watch their podcasts. And when I say a few people, I mean it's a few people that are like obsessively just like, like almost like they're in their lives or something, like they're part of the podcast. And it's almost easy to actually become that. And it's like the same topics, it's like the same thing. And I always wonder, like, if I was there, what would happen if I actually threw in something? Because it's like I have a lot of hobbies, and I always wonder, like, if I was part of Sacred Symbols of that particular podcast with Colin, or I forget what it's called though. I just call it Sacred Symbols. Like, what would that be? Also, you say it's a PlayStation podcast or something. And I grew up with PlayStation, so I always wonder, like, what, it's just that it's one of those things that I think in my head when I listen to my favorite podcasts. It's like, what would life be if I was part of that podcast? You know what I mean? It's kind of fun to think about. But also, I wonder, like, man, I feel like I've been listening to the same episode every week because it's like the same thing. I feel like if they heard me, Colin would be like, "Can this freaking fat Filipino shut up? Can you just shut up? Like, how dare you judge my podcast?" Or maybe you'd be like, thank you for this. Yeah, you know. If there's anyone mature and forgiving, that I always look at Colin like that. It's always inspiring. It would be nice to interview him because he was also part of a podcast that is smaller, and it would be cool to actually get him as a guest here in VinzTalk. I've been wanting to do collabs, but it's been hard because I live with my parents, and also they freaking yell, and they not yell. They don't argue, but they just freaking talk a lot. These walls, believe it or not, are not like they're not soundproof. Then again, I wouldn't know. They don't. I can hear them, but I'm not sure if they can hear me. You know what I mean? But I don't care. What's next? Oh yeah, Nvidia and the AI DLSS 5. It's AI, but it shows a little too much detail. Not for me. Not for me. I look at it and I'm like, I'm not sure. And I see the memes, of course. They're funny, but at the same time, like, yeah, Nvidia. I mean, instead of focusing on actually helping gamers that are poor like me, that needed new gaming laptops, basically, or maybe just a gaming laptop in general. People don't know this. My laptop is not a gaming laptop. It's a normal laptop. Years ago. And I still freaking use it. That's my go-to indie games because it's the only thing for me when it comes down to playing freaking indie games. So, because I don't know, man. I don't know. Well, after that convention, man, I got really invest, a little bit more focus on really getting a new laptop. You know what I mean? Other than that, side scrolls. For some reason, I put it here. I put always my favorite podcast here and there or something like that. But yeah, side scrollers. Basically, they were talking about the UK, and I didn't know it was getting that bad. This is kind of like international news because they had Lady Decade, and she's dressed as a crusader for a reason, especially for someone that is from the UK and talks about the issues there. And if you talk about anything or criticize a particular religion there, not Christianity, by the way, but if you talk about, the rules, the ID, the whatever nonsense is going on in the UK, yeah, you'll get arrested or something like that. There's a part of me is like, that's not looking good. Also, speaking of side scrollers, the host Craig is going to Europe. He's going to a cruise trip, something that I actually been to. And he's going to a cruise trip across the Mediterranean. and I think he said something like he might be stopping at UK. Because I remember me stopping UK and it was like, it feels daunting or dark. But sometimes you stop at Germany, sometimes you stop at Spain, as layovers. And pretty much, yeah, he's going to be doing that as well. He's kind of afraid that he might get arrested on the spot. He jokes about it, but it's like, is that bound to happen? Because people that are offended, I have my opinions about the UK. And I guarantee you they might take issue of what I'm saying, stuff like that. All because it's freaking common sense. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But no. Free speech it's not it's different over there. I don't know, man. Praise to the UK because it just sounds like it's pretty bad. When Lady Decade was talking about it, she was about to cry. Like she was serious. Even promoting a small indie game about this issue. It's not really a good looking game. It looks funny, but it's like an indie game or something like that in Steam that someone made with Unreal Engine. But she seems very dedicated and serious. Like this is really what's happening here. For the everyday working man in the UK. Like it sounds like the UK is not the UK anymore. It's something else, you know what I mean? It's interesting because I saw a TikTok of someone talking about St. Patrick's Day because passed. By the way, note to self: never get a haircut during St. Patrick's Day. I kind of did that. Yeah, that was stupid. They freaking messed up my cut. I kind of want to show it, but I kind of don't. Thank goodness I bought a new hat to cover it. But I was just looking at my hair. I'm like, the frick is this, dude? This is definitely an old lady's like haircut, which is true because it is from an old lady that cut in my hair. And even though she worked the fade, I gotta say, I I feel like she's trying to make me Irish. I don't even know what I'm looking at. You know what I mean? And I am not white. But anyways, yeah. This just happens to be the TikTok of St. Patrick's and there's like Indians celebrating it. I was like, yeah, of course. The UK, there's a lot of Indians there. But then they shows like St. Patrick's Day in Japan. And Japan has zero history with the Irish. But still shows it. And they're celebrating a little bit more authentic than Ireland, the motherland of St. Patrick's Day. And St. Patrick's is also a Christian holiday as well. I'm not Catholic, but hey, St. Patrick. It's one of God's people, I guess. Other than that, what else I got? Pokepia? Not gonna talk about that. Yeah, we're done. See you when little piece of God bless. Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep.